under the last boss, and it wasn't good for me at all. So I want guidance. I want leadership. But don't just like boss me around, you know? Like lead me. Lead me when I'm in the mood to be led.
That's crazy, bro. No, that's not how leadership works. If you want a leader, you got to be a follower.
I feel like if you're a true leader, people will follow you and they won't even know they're doing it.
That's true.
What?
You know?
What?
Yeah. Yep.
Wait, it's like the military. Like, you have superior officers. You don't get to have like I want to have a discussion about the orders I've just been given. Also, as a military superior, sorry, I'm fucking already drunk. I don't drink. I'm a fucking lightweight. I'm slurring my words already.
Like a feather.
You can't say to your military officer, your superior in the military, justify the order to me. Like, you need to give me reasons why I need to follow your order. It's literally like, now, I'll be fair, there are situations if you get an unlawful order from somebody in the military, like you can deny to do, like if they're like, okay, go shoot the civilian. You as a subordinate in the military can still be like, no, I'm not going to do that. That's in contravention of like rules of engagement and military law. But if it's like an order that ought to be followed and is not in contravention of any sort of military doctrine or law, you follow the order. And you don't. Why do we have to do boot camp? Why do we have to do these military drills? Yeah. You don't get to ask why. You just you shut up and do them.
You signed up for
But in this analogy, you're just saying the man is higher ranking. Yeah, like you're just making the man higher ranking in the analogy. I mean, like when you're drawing a parallel between relationships and military.
Well, I'm drawing a parallel between leadership in the military form and leadership in the relationship form. Mm-hmm. And it's like, look, if you want to be 50-50 and do all that with a guy, then fine. You can like exert your will. But if you want a guy to pay for first dates and be a leader and be masculine and be dominant and be all these things, all the positive components of being in a relationship with a leader, we can't do that unless you follow. Like, if you want a leader, an entailment of wanting a man who's a leader, you have to follow. You have to be a follower, because I can't lead somebody like in partner dance. Somebody's the leader, somebody's the follower. So it gets way too messy if both people are trying to lead and dictate the terms. And look, if you want to deal with a guy, like I said, do 50-50 with him, then that's fine. But if you want to deal with a leader who's going to pay for stuff, who's going to be a provider, who's going to be a protector, you got to defer to his leadership.
Mm-hmm. That's honestly why I think I'm not in a relationship, because I haven't found the
tilt your mic down, but go ahead. You haven't found what?
I haven't found the appropriate leader. So I'm not just going to submit just to anyone.
Yeah.
That's just conditional submission. I mean, granted, look, if the guy's not a leader, then how are you going to follow him? But if he is leading, but if you're constantly objecting at every single point, like, look, a guy cannot be the right guy for you.
But that can't lead.
But you need to defer to leader. Like, if you're just going to question every single thing in the relationship, you're going to be quarrelsome, you're going to be nagging, you're going to be constantly challenging his authority, then you're not following. Yep. And you're inserting conflict into the relationship. Mm-hmm. And again, look, if you want the 50-50, you want the more I guess liberal approach to a relationship, the more progressive approach to a relationship where it's just equality, you can find that and you can do that. But if you can't sit here and be like, well, I want a guy to make the first move. I want a guy to take initiative. I want a guy to go on the first kiss. I want a guy to pay for dates. I want a guy to protect me. I want a guy to walk on the inside or outside of the sidewalk. On the closer to the street.
I love that.
I want to walk
close.
I want a guy who's willing to walk closer to the street so he can protect me. Right? You want a guy to open the car door. You want a guy to pull your seat, whatever it is.
Hold your luggage. Yeah.
Why y'all just want to pick and choose? Like it's a feminist buffet.
But
I love it when men pay for the first dates. But I have to defer to his authority in a relationship. Don't like that. It's like, okay.
Well, it takes two to tango in a relationship, but
yeah. I mean,
someone's always leading.
Yeah, like for the 3.5 years where I was like struggling super hard to submit, we would fight about it fairly often, right? Like if we were running into money troubles, I would very much be like, I'm gonna solve it myself, like because growing up, like it's my money, I'm gonna deal with it, right? And that would be like a crux of a lot of our arguments, is like I'm trying to lead as like the man in our relationship. Why won't you default to it? And then we like, deep dove, psychoanalyzed a little bit, and then I was like, oh, you know what? I probably could chill out a little bit.
Like I like this,
That's good.
Yeah,
it was something that you weren't used to because of how you grew up and stuff. So,
it does take a lot.
I
want
to talk a bit of shit.
Talking
champagne hitting him.
Like to submit to
he
someone.
Said, I want to talk.
It takes
I got
a lot
something
of trust,
to say.
Like you actually have to feel safe with the person.
Yeah, you gotta trust them.
1,000%. I agree with that.
But like,
safety is.
I guess my pushback on that though is like, okay, in order for me to be submissive, I need to have like this trust established. I'm not saying you should be submissive to like every single dude who comes along, and just obviously you're gonna be
have your guard up.
You're gonna be picky, and you're gonna want to deal with a guy who is the right guy for you. But it's just interesting, like you're gonna withhold sort of that natural female femininity or component to you. But like if a guy was like, well, I'm gonna, before I don't want to let my guard down with this woman, I'm gonna reserve paying for dates and being a protector until I feel comfortable with you and you've proven yourself to me. Until then, I'm gonna wear dresses and I'm gonna be really feminine until you've proven yourself to me as a woman. It's like,
I still try to do, like, if I'm expecting the guy to be kind of like a provider type person, I still try to do sweet things that I think are more feminine. Like, I like to make cookies, and I'm like, what's your favorite food? I want to make you good food. Like, I do think that but that's not just a masculine and feminine thing. But I think with the paying for dates thing, I think that it's so different now because everyone dates each other for a long time, whereas before you would pair off and then someone would be making the meals, and you wouldn't be going out all the time, spending so much money on
it's beautiful
going out.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Talk your shit, Brian.
Felicity.